Well, I hope everybody's enjoying themselves and got some good to eat. Hopefully there was enough. If not, my apologies. But one thing I do want to talk to you guys about is the driver safety that Oxy, the programs that we do have here, our program we have here. Safety to me is near and dear to my heart, and I want to kind of keep it short. Don't want to hold you guys up, but I've had two situations in my life that were really, really tragic, not directly to me, but friends that I've had. And they've not only impacted my life, but believe it or not, my kids' life, and along with their families. Very two similar incidences. These two gentlemen, separate incidences, but similar in nature. Driving on two-lane highway, had a head-on collision. Both of the gentlemen that were friends of mine were stuck in the vehicle. Vehicles caught on fire. One was still alive, burned to death. And the other, they believe he may have died on impact. The sad part of it is one of the gentlemen I knew really, really well, I worked with, his kid and my kid went to school together. So it was really tough, going out to sporting events, which they do play with each other, against each other, to see that I be there and him not be there to, be there with his child, to see that, all because of something that went wrong on the roads. So when I had the opportunity to speak to driving, I really jumped at the chance, and I thought this was a really good forum for me to, interject on this and talk about what we do here at Oxy to help minimize stuff like that, incidents, accidents, anything we can do to improve the way we drive on our roads, not only for our personnel, but the people that we drive on the roads with, right? So, go ahead. So I know you guys have heard this before. Driving is probably the most hazardous thing we do on a daily basis, and that's 100% true. Absolutely true. Carlsbad is a small community. I was born and raised here. Anybody else born and raised here, by the way? Born and raised here? All right. Raul, you know how small it is, how much it's grown as far as traffic. Improvements on roads, we've seen that. We've seen, bypasses put in, which has been very helpful in our local communities. But it is one of the most hazardous things we do on a daily basis. And here at Oxy, our number one priority is not only getting our personnel home safe, but also, making the roads safer so that everybody else gets home safe. So if we play our part, we hope that we can make an impact to our community on getting everybody else home safe, right? So, on here it states, and I'm going to follow the slide because I tend to talk a lot and kind of get off, not off script, but just tell a little bit more stories than I probably should. But no job or schedule or phone call is worth anybody's life. So we encourage you to, when you do get that phone call, if you need to pull over, if you're in a spot where you can't pull over, keep going till you can, right? And here are some of our statistics that I'd like to share with you guys. And this starts from January of 2024 till July of this year. And some of you employees for Oxy that are in here, you guys are going to recognize this slide because we did cover this. This was our monthly topic, safety topic. And driving is one of our life-saving rules. And we got 10 of those life-saving rules, and number one is driving. So for those of you guys who are here with Oxy, like I said, you guys have seen this slide before, but it's good to cover it again because there may have been something you missed, because there's always something that I miss, even when I present, that I remember the next time, right? So we've got 195 preventables and 114 non-preventables. That also includes our contractors that work for us. We do collect that information, that data. We go over it and we review, what can we do on our end of things to make things better? Luckily, within these numbers, there has not been a fatality. The one thing that really sticks out the most, which we see a lot of, believe it or not, are bollards on location, barriers, whatever it is. So what we've done, we've implemented, because we've got bollards that are maybe 3.5 feet, sometimes 4 feet high. We've added extensions on those to where they're up above either the driver's sight and the line of sight, or a lot higher to where he could see that. But believe it or not, we still hit those two. We don't get in. Sometimes we're just thinking of something else. What next location we got to get to, what job we got to get to, and we're not paying attention, right? But we do collect that data. We do share that information with our personnel. And when we get to go speak at contractor safety meetings, we do share that information with them as well. Next slide, please. So environmental hazards, I'm sure everybody's pretty much familiar with some of the hazards that we have. We face these. I mean, obviously there's long hours, remote locations. Sometimes it takes two or 3 hours to get to a location, and that's just one trip. That's not coming back, and that's not including the time we spend on location, right? The best way to stay safe is obviously recognize the hazards. What hazards do we have in front of us? What hazards can potentially take place, right? So here we've got fatigue. Did speak to that one a little bit. You know, you work long hours, you do tend to get tired. You're driving, you get hypnotized by that road, it gets you tired, right? Dust on leased roads. We don't always have the best leased roads and not so much the best of shape, but they are pretty dusty. Sometimes the dirt gets loose and you throw up a lot of dust. Wind as well throws up a lot of dust. 2-lane highways, I just spoke to that. Reasoning for a couple of my friends passing. Heavy traffic, that looks like it's in front of Walmart about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? Wildlife, we do have wildlife. We had a couple people have motor vehicle incidences with animals. Anybody ever hit a deer? How many people hit a deer? How many of y'all took it home? Law enforcement, we didn't say that. But seriously, they are out there. They are moving around. We are starting to expand. We're starting to get into their territory, right? So they're moving around. Weather. We get all 4 seasons here. And it seems to me that, man, when we get that rain or that snow come through here, a lot of us forget how to drive, right? Road construction. We do see a lot of that. I know within the Texas area and this area specifically, we do see a lot of construction going on. So not only is there equipment out there, road equipment, there's personnel out there that are working these roads that we need to be mindful of. Other drivers, you could be the best driver in the world. I think I'm the best driver, but I come find out sometimes I'm not because of things that I do or things that I remember I've done. I'm like, man, thought I was that good, but I'm not. And vehicle condition, most important. These roads, especially in our industry, these roads are tough on our trucks, on our equipment that we have out there. So make sure you do a good upkeep on those and make sure that that vehicle's in good condition for you to operate. Next slide, please. So defensive driving, right? It's kind of a busy slide, and I won't go through it word for word, but key expectations, what we tell our people, you got to stay alert. Keep a safe distance. A safe distance is very important. We've had a few issues where we're in traffic or we're even driving to come to a stop and somebody's following too close and get rear-ended, right? Keep that safe distance. They say 4 to 5. If there's another number out there, I'd like to know. I mean, anything beyond 4 or 5, I think that's pretty good. But the higher you go, I think the spread should be a little bit wider, right? And then adjust to your conditions. So the traffic, the speed limits, the signs we see posted out there, when it says drive 55, we're allowed to go 5 over, right? I'm asking the law enforcement in the back. That's not a true statement? No, absolutely not. It's not a true statement. Those speed limit signs are out there for a reason. They're for ideal conditions only. So if we got a sign that says 55, it's sunny, roads are clear, we can do 55, but we got rain, snow, anything else, we got to adjust. Okay? Be patient. Road rage, it is prevalent out there. You do see road rage, and you do see people that aren't paying attention or are impatient, need to get to the next stop, need to get that next load, getting paid by the load, not by the hour. So be patient. Eliminate distractions. Cell phones, I know majority, well, it is the law, no cell phones. But I'm sure companies do have cell phone usage in vehicles. Either you don't use them or it's hands-free. And Oxy's policy is hands-free with the exception of one asset, and that's in our Rockies area. No cell phones whatsoever, right? Manual distractions. The one about putting on, I've never seen that, I'll be honest. I've never seen a lady putting on makeup. You know, if you want to be honest and say you've done it before, you can go ahead and raise your hand. I mean, or just poke a little finger up. I'm not going to tell on you. But cognitive thinking, you know, thinking about work, family, whatever else. This actually, believe it or not, happened to me yesterday. I'm just going to raise my hand. I was on my way home from work, getting home, and I pulled in the driveway, and I'm like, man, how the heck did I get here? Right? Anybody ever done that? I mean, you're driving, you know where you got to get to. It's a road you drive every day. To me, people say, oh, it's a routine. It's a routine drive. I do it all the time. Hate to tell you, the word routine should never be used in a workplace, ever. Nothing's ever routine. I take the same road home every day. I leave almost the same time every day, but there's other people on the road. Could be that wildlife that just came out of nowhere. Nothing's ever routine. So that's one thing I try to stick to. Nothing's ever routine. Expect the unexpected. Next slide, please. Again, we see the word fatigue, time, and pressure. Long shifts, of course. That does play a factor in the way we drive and the way we operate and the way we operate on our locations and behind the wheel. You know, some of our expectations that we talk with our people about is, you know, be honest to yourself. Be honest about your condition. Are you able to drive? Are you tired? We've had people call their supervisors and say, hey, man, I've been out here almost 16 hours. You mind if I pull over, take a nap, whatever? I've never heard the word no, but I would hope to think that, you know, you could pull over and at least take a 10-minute power nap or something, right? Plan ahead, most important. You know, allow extra time to travel. You know, there's some people that like to push that extra minute to be at home a little bit longer and then drive a little faster to get to work to be on time. And then safety over schedule. I like that right there where it says no meeting, load, or deadline is worth a life. If something feels unsafe, fatigue, weather, or mechanical issues, stop and reassess. 100% agree with that. We've had an issue a few years ago where one of our personnel was late to a meeting and having to drive to the office, and it was quite a long drive, but there was a lot of fog, and it didn't turn out well. There was an accident, we had a fatality, and all because of a meeting trying to make it on time. And I can guarantee if a phone call would have been made, a stop the job, pull over, whatever it was, to say that, hey, I'm in a rush, I got to make this meeting, that supervisor would have said, stop, don't even come in at all, right? Stay safe. And then speak up. You know, again, it says no meeting, load, deadline is worth risking, you know, your life for, or anybody else's life. So if you are running late, don't be afraid to make a phone call. If you are fatigued, don't be afraid to make a phone call. Let somebody know. Speak up. Let them know about your condition, regardless if it's your health, your vehicle, whatever it is. Don't be afraid to speak up. Save your life and maybe somebody else's. Okay? Next slide, please. So here's our Oxy driver expectations. Fit for duty. Everybody's heard that, fit for duty, right? Especially when you get behind the wheel. You know, don't drive while you're impaired, where you're fatigued, or, you know, you got alcohol, or even medication, because there's medications that, you know, when you get them, they tell you can't operate heavy equipment. I'm sure that includes a vehicle, right? And smart devices, hands-free. Like I said, that's our policy in this area. But OxyRock, they have a no-phone policy. You do not use that at all. No smoking or transporting firearms in Oxy vehicles. And also, Oxy is authorized to review your driving record. So that's one thing that we also do, is we do a background check on your driving, see how you do, see if you're able to operate an Oxy vehicle. But I haven't had an issue or had anything come across my desk that says, you know, somebody's not able to drive a vehicle, but we do background checks on that. Vehicle safety inspections. We do have a geotab system here. You can see the tab here on the bottom that we got to ensure that that is on. And the indication, we got indicator lights that say, hey, you're good to go, it's a no-go, or you're good to go, right? We make sure that that's working. One of the other things that I know Michael discussed this morning, that Deidre did, she did a 360 walk around this morning in her vehicle and found we had a flat tire. Had that happen a few times, not just with myself, but with other people within the company. Say, hey, I got a flat tire, what do I need to do? Fix it, get it fixed. Well, thank you for doing your 360, right? Another one is obviously keeping your vehicles clean, maintain and report any mechanical issues. We highly encourage our guys to get their cars or their vehicles detailed ever so often. I believe it's like once a month we allow them to do that. Company pays for that. Make sure their windshield's clean, headlights clean, taillights, everything good and working condition. And if there's any issues, we have them report that immediately and we get that in to get it fixed. Safe driving practices, defensively driving, stay alert, scan ahead, and adjust for conditions. We did discuss that, right? There could be a lot of changes, even from day to day, especially when it comes to weather. We've had pretty good rain this year where it took out some of our roads, and some of these puddles cover these potholes, and you hit that thing, man, it wakes you up pretty dang quick, and it'll take your tire out too. And then, of course, avoid unnecessary backing. Oxy's policy is that if we can park in a manner where our first move is forward, we will do that, regardless of where we are. If we go to down the street, get something to drink before we head out, we ask that you try and park in a manner where your first move's forward. We found that statistically, you're less likely to be involved in some type of MVA if you park in a manner where your first move is forward, and that's on location too. And we've also seen on location where we got a couple guys parked right next to each other. Their first move's forward, but they still end up hitting each other. But we try and take care of that as well. Obey all traffic laws. We did discuss that too. Obeying the speed limit. And then the big one we talked about, was always wear your seatbelts. That number was kind of frightening, to see that number. That shows that somebody could have most likely survived a vehicle incident if they were wearing their seatbelt. And I'm glad your kids speak up and tell you like it is, right? We all are always in a rush to do something at some point in time before we get behind the wheel, and we do tend to forget that seatbelt. That's one of the biggest life-saving things that we can do to minimize any kind of issues with a fatality. And here we report all incidents and accidents and vehicle damage to your supervisor right away. You guys seen that, the statistics that we had up there earlier, that we report anything and everything when it comes to our vehicles. So we can capture the data and, mitigate anything we got. Next slide, please. So here we got another fit for duty slide. So being fit for duty is the first line of defense behind the wheel. 100% agree with that. You got to know exactly what you're doing, know exactly what to expect, and make sure you feel good about yourself getting behind that wheel. So if you're not 100%, don't put yourself or others at risk. Doing a personal 360, we discussed that already. I think that's very important before you take off, even before you get back in to take off again, regardless of where you've been. If you've stopped, you get out, you go inside somewhere, be it a store, a building, for a meeting, you come back out, do that 360, things change. Be rested, obviously get enough sleep. This oil field is a 24/7 business. Anybody who's involved in the oil field already knows how long those hours can be and how exhausting it can be. So make sure you're rested. No impairment. We did discuss no alcohol or drugs in vehicles. Obviously, it's, hopefully that's across the board with everybody in here. If you do feel the need to self-report, and do it by all means. Okay. Check medications. We did discuss that as well. If it tells you not to operate anything, any heavy equipment, do not do that. That's one thing we share with our guys as well. And if you're not fit to drive, don't be behind the wheel. Next slide, please. So this is the journey management plan. that you can not only use this in your place of work, but also at home, right? Every safe trip starts with a good plan. I do plan. I'm a planner. I need to know what time I'm leaving, when I'm going to get there, what route I'm taking, what all am I taking, and I do have make sure my jacks are all good. And, I got everything I need to repair a tire, right? If I'm pulling a trailer, I got everything I need to pull that trailer with. Make sure everything's intact. When is the safest time to travel? Around here, it's kind of hard to tell, right? I mean, as small as this town is and as busy as it is, it's kind of hard to tell when it's safer to travel, especially in our industry when we get on a location. Do others know your travel plans? Do you tell somebody before you go out of town? I do. I let somebody know where I'm going, what route I plan to take, and what time I plan to get there, right? And I don't know about New Mexico statistic, but on here it says the Texas DOT has $1.6 billion in construction in 28 counties in the Permian. You know, I talked about congestion and road construction earlier. That's a lot of money being spent on these roadways, and I think it's a great idea. And obviously, a lot of improvement going on in the roads, but it's also a lot of construction. So it's another thing to look out for. Plan ahead to reduce risk. Choose the safest routes, the most direct route. We've got a couple ways in and out of Carlsbad, but it's busy. Are they all the safest? Probably they are, but at the same time, you guys got to plan ahead and make sure that it's the right time and it's the safest route. Check the weather conditions. I don't know how many people check the weather conditions. I do daily, just in case I got to report something to not only our people in the field, but to our guys to share as well. And if I plan to do anything later on that day or take a trip, I like to plan ahead and make sure that I'll be running through good weather. Schedule breaks. I don't know if you guys travel with kids or grandkids. At my point, in my age, I travel with grandkids. It's when are we there? Are we going to stop? I got to go to the bathroom. And most of the time, it's me saying that, not my grandkids anymore. I'm the one saying, I got to go to the bathroom. So we pull over. We do make scheduled stops along the way. And, of course, if we need to stop anywhere else in between there, we will. And, of course, with high traffic and stuff like that, avoid driving at high-risk times, late at night, dusk, dawn, and watch for wildlife. Next slide, please. I like this slide. The SMART matrix. It's the L3 Harris SMART. It's a simple way to stay safe on the road, right? And a lot of it still goes over of what we have already discussed, but the safe driving just isn't about following the rules. It's about staying alert, being prepared, and respond to changing conditions. And it breaks down the SMART acronym. The S stands for scan the road ahead with your mirrors and surrounding areas constantly. I'm always one of those guys that's looking in my rearview mirror, make sure, I'm not being followed too closely, or my side mirrors, make sure I'm able to make a good lane change if necessary. But I'm always one of those guys, I am paying attention to what's in front of me, but I always scan, right? M is measure your risk, the weather conditions, construction, people, we did talk about that. A, anticipate the actions of other drivers. Man, that's really kind of hard sometimes. But you see those guys that are weaving in and out of traffic trying to beat the next car to the stoplight, and you both get there and you guys are both there at the same time, right? Trying to avoid that. If you see that, slow down, let them pass you. Let them pass you. Ain't no sense in taking no chance in speeding up or trying to keep up with him or even, flip him the bird or whatever it is because he sideswiped you or ran you off the road. Of course, the R is reach a decision before you are into a reaction, right? Make good decisions. And of course, T is trust your decision. Drive with purpose. Know what you're doing. Stay focused behind that wheel. Okay, next slide. And this is the last slide, and I thought it would be important to share with you guys. I know we're a couple weeks into it already, but for those of you who have kids, grandkids, nieces, whatever it is, the little tykes, or even the ones that are starting to figure out how to drive or learning how to drive, this is pretty important. I do have grandkids. They are in school. I did go through the whole driving issue with my kids as well. That was a nightmare. But obviously, we got new and experienced drivers on the road. They don't always make the right decisions. And I don't know how true this statistic is. I'm just throwing it out there, and if I'm wrong, but apparently you got to be behind the wheel for about, 7, 8 years or something like that to be considered a decent driver. I don't know how true that is. I just heard that or read that somewhere, and it may have been a long time ago. Statistics may have changed. So, school zones, those are important. Please do not speed through the school zones. Obey the signs, the blinking lights. Even if the lights are blinking and there's nobody there, still abide by those rules, right? Slow down. Make sure that you're doing the right speed and watching for the kids. Increase traffic. Obviously, we've got more people on the road, people taking their kids to school, picking them up. I live right next door to school. I could throw a rock and hit the school. I live right on the corner. And I thought it was going to be convenient for me and my grandkids and whatever else, man, but I forgot everybody else in the neighborhood. I got kids walk through there, parents that drive through there, and believe it or not, there's 1 or 2 people every day that are going unnecessarily fast, even though that it's still a slow rate. Is still pretty fast for the neighborhood and that amount of kids, right? School buses. We all see the lights. Everybody knows when those lights start to flash, you got to stop, right? And some of these new buses got that arm that comes out so that the kids run out in front of the truck so they're not in the blind spot of that bus. So be mindful of that and give them the way that they need to get around there. Pedestrians, cyclists, and scooters. There was that other slide that the gentleman spoke to this morning that New Mexico's got the highest rate of pedestrian fatalities. Man, that's pretty scary. And I don't know exactly what all region that was. I mean, it was New Mexico, period. I mean, we got to do better, guys. We can do better. We need to do better. Distracted drivers, more vehicles on the road means more higher chances of others not paying attention. 100% agree with that. Right? There's other distractions, the more people we got. And the oxy expectation, slow down, stay alert, allow for extra time during school commutes, and protecting our kids and our community is part of driving responsibly. That's all I got, guys. Hope I didn't put y'all to sleep. There you go. That's what I wanted to hear.
Oh, thank you, David. We really appreciate it.